All right, good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome into another fantastic edition of NFT Live here on the Web3 Network. I'm sitting here with some of the homies, sitting here with y'all that decided, hey, I'm going to click on that link a little bit early today, get my Monday started right. I see all of you guys in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We got a full episode. We're talking y00ts, we're talking Solana, we're talking Polygon, we're talking based as fuck, and we're talking green markets, fellas. How we feeling today? Seeing some numbers go up. It kind of worries me that my mental state is tied to a ticker on the screen. It feels good.
Number go up, Q. Number go up. Number go up.
Hey, however brief this may be, it's a good feeling nonetheless. We got to embrace it, right? And don't forget, listeners out there, take some profits. They don't last forever.
Biggie coming in as the voice of reason when shit's pumping. Just gotta take some profits. You're right. Too many times has that happened. Gifted, how you doing today? How was GM Web3?
It's great, man. But yeah, too reasonable, Biggie. Too reasonable. Y'all, you should be taping in the bear market's over. Bull market's here.
TLDR.
It's here. No, I'm obviously kidding. I agree with Biggie, actually. I think that's what a lot of the smart money is going to be doing, is using this opportunity maybe to get out of a couple positions and take a little bit of profit here and there, and hopefully sustain themselves. Again, it's all about survival. Let's not kid ourselves. This is a game of survival. We talked a little bit last week about this cliche of the Wild West and what it means.
Gun down.
We are literally pioneering the Oregon Trail of Web3 together, and you know what? Lil Timmy's gonna get bitten by a few rattlesnakes. You gotta figure out how the fuck you're gonna make it all the way to Oregon. All right. So you know what? I think
Timmy.
I think Biggie's right, and that's what the smart money is gonna be doing. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited though to see projects that I love, like Oni Forest, getting a little bit of shine back.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, make sure you do not get gunned down by any random hackers or anything like that here in the wild west of Web3. Prodigy saying gangstas. I appreciate that. Chaz Gold is in the house. Shapes of the Divine. Justin Murray, of course, our resident Solana defender of the Knights table.
He's doing a great job so far. I mean, he's really taking his job seriously, and we appreciate that, Justin. Also, though, quick announcement for those who are here. We're going to be randomly selecting one winner for this Heterochrome Eyes DBs NFT giveaway that we're doing. So here's what you got to do. You got to make sure to comment over there or in the chat, wherever you are. You got to let us know that you went to that tweet. I don't know if you can pull it up, but you got to let us know that you liked it, retweeted, and tagged 3 friends in the comments, and that you're here hanging out with us. You got to be here to be in on this random drawing that we're going to do here in a couple minutes. So we got to see you in the chat saying I'm in, or like I did it, I want the DB or something. You got to let us know in the chat that you're here so that I can make sure to include you in this random giveaway.
Okay, I will get that tweet. I also appreciate just forcing people to be here. So for those of you tuning in that are absolutely being forced to listen to us
we're
now.
Playing games, Q. It's not like nobody has to do anything. Like if you want to win a dope fucking DB, these digital assets we're giving away.
See, you're wrong, because they have to hit the like button. You guys have to hit the like button.
I forgot about that part of this giveaway. Yeah, I forgot about that, because it's very easy for me to view who's liked the video or not. So,
okay, I'm linking that right now. Also, I want to point out that on the GM Web3 Morning Show, I'm good with trying to find a tweet or something like that as Gift Dad's running the show, because of course I know how it feels behind the scenes to have to be doing a bunch of things. You asked for the most random thing of all time this morning. I think it was to find the Rate My Bags conference edition that we did on a random Thursday, maybe a month ago.
Yeah,
I can't find those.
Are we gonna finish Rate My Rug today, or is that sometime later this week?
I will have to reconvene.
All right, that's fine.
What do you think, Biggie? Should we do it?
No, man. There's just too many rugs to look through, man. Let's just keep them in the dustbin. No need to look back there again. We're in a bull market, folks. Temporary.
I also don't want this to be a 2-hour show. So, Jacob, we're not going to do it today. It's not today.
Not today, Jacob. I do want to point out what Biggie just talked about. We've got markets across the board. This isn't just NFTs, folks. We kind of had a little mini NFT pump here before this like broader crypto move, but Bitcoin's up 4%. I think it's up a little bit more from its lows, obviously. I need to check in on that, but Ethereum, I mean, it was ranging at 1100 for, I mean, since maybe September. Now sitting at 13.5. ApeCoin hit $5 today. Like
Cardano even pumped. I mean, damn.
I'm wondering why Lido is pumping. Lido's up like 100%. That staking service for E2.0, but Solana up 100% off its lows. Gift dead. How we feeling about Solana these days? That token.
I feel the same way. Like, again, I'm pretty bullish on it long term. Like, and like, you know, when it got flooded to death and has been dealing with all this FTX shit, that might have been the best time to buy it. Frankly, I didn't have a lot of like extra liquidity and conviction to be buying more Sol right now. But if you did, then you fucking like just made a bag in the last 7 days. Good for you. So yeah, I mean, again, I don't think Solana is the greatest place for crypto art, but I think that it has its own values as a blockchain and network that can do things in the future.
Okay,
so.
I want to take a quick look at the price floors as well. So this is over the past 7 days. We've seen a pretty strong again move on a lot of the NFT price floors. Azuki up 18%. What do we see? That's pretty good. Moonbirds, Proof Collective has been up pretty heavily.
On the Solana front, real quick, also, I'm happy for the people that were getting like double, triple hit with like all the FTX news that also might have been big Solana holders, because I'm sure it feels good to them to see some of their bags, part of their bags, at least not totally in the shitter right now.
Yeah, I think that was part of the narrative they were playing off of. It was like, let's save Solana from a lot of the negative shit that's happening right now, and I think they did well. Off 70% off the all-time highs. So that's, again, what we were saying on the network was just don't get caught with your pants down buying from these guys at all-time highs. Again, that's a good strategy overall. Don't buy at all-time highs, but that's what we were kind of talking about, was this rampant volatility, and you see it with Bonk right now. I think it's down like 30% here in like the last 24.
Yeah, Biggie, you look like you want to jump in there.
No. Yeah, I was wondering, is Justin Murray Marty McFly's like alter ego or something, or like secondary account?
He's the new.
I'm not. He's the new Marty McFly. Okay. Yeah. I'm just. But I love that you're here, brother. It's always good to have different takes. By the way, I did want to ask you too. Like, were you able to scoop up an allow list for Based as Fuck? It's been doing great. It's looking good.
Did you get in on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got one. Nifty Q's over here fucking sleeping on his own advice. I don't know what this guy's doing.
I'm just here to report on the news, man. I'm not part of it.
0.08 mint for something like this with like a high profile leader is like, and you didn't have to grind. You didn't have to do like spend fucking months in a Discord. It was amazing. Like, honestly, I feel like the simplicity of it made it a great experience. And it's already up, 3 or 4x from the mint price. So I don't know what Q is doing. And Chuckle Toots fucking did it right. Chuck got in on the mint and then also picked up like 3 or 4 or 5 of them, like around 0.1. And he's
well done.
Yeah.
Shout out. The simplicity you mentioned, because again, folks, this mint was open. It wasn't like obviously a lot got minted at first, but it was open for a period of time where you could have got in if you did the basic necessity guidelines there. You could get in on this mint, and that's actually what kind of kept me from doing that, because I was like, I don't want to compete with like all of these. Like, I'm not going to get one, etc., etc. I should have got one. You're right. So Biggie, yeah. we will get into some updates here on Based as Fuck, because there's been a ton here from that project. Any like TLDR stuff before we hit on that later?
No. Let's wait until later. We can touch upon it then. I'm just Based as Fuck about it. It's looking good.
TLDR also, I think they're up 3 or 4x off of mint price, correct? At this point, because Marty's saying he already sold one.
Yes.
and he
Point
picked up his.
26.
Yeah,
Marty taking profits. Yes, sir. He's smart man, that Marty.
I thought Marty was the one saying, "What are profits?" Good question.
All right, we are going to get into the quick news for the day, and it's going to be quick. As always, we promise to do that. Before we hit that, fellas, overall, I know it's tough to like make a prediction when prices go up 10%. It's always the question: Are we back? Are we doing this like bull market cycle? Are we done with all the pain, all that stuff? I do want to have that conversation. Do we feel like this is kind of just a momentary thing, and then we're gonna kind of continue a downtrend overall, which is what you would see if you zoomed out a little bit? Or do you guys really feel like, hey, we've kind of bottomed out? We bottomed out at 1,100 on ETH or 1,000 on ETH, and this is where we're gonna be for the most part. So bullish, bearish? Give me your take.
I still think it's a crab market. I know, boring. I'm gonna keep like saying the same thing over and over. We're in a crab market. Like, we're beholden to the macro. Just keep your eye on the macro. And yeah, I mean, if you're good at trading the different levels, then this should be great for you, right? I'm not doing that, but yeah, I still think it's a high probability that we'll see plenty of more dips down the line, opportunities to get in. So, you know, play it how you will.
GIF?
Yeah, so like we were saying this morning, if you look at the total number of active wallets right now, it really hasn't increased at all. And so what you're looking at is not an influx of new capital or new buyers into the space, unfortunately. What you're looking at is probably primarily just a shift in sentiment within the hardcore users like ourselves, like the people that are already here participating. So some more hope, some new mechanics, some big announcements from a bunch of the established projects that maybe have been silent for months. All of this contributing, you know, and when I say mechanics, like one of those obviously being Blur Airdrop 3 being a big part of that too. So there's a bunch of different factors right now that are all playing into a renewed positive sentiment and some new hope that right now is great. But is it sustainable without a bunch of additional liquidity coming in? Probably not. So I don't think it's the end of the bear market. I think it's probably a relatively short-lived reprieve. And that's why, again, to Biggie's point, it's probably a good time, if you can, to make any small wins here or there, take some profits. Again, survival, you're going to need to still stick it out probably for another 6 months to a year, if I had to guess, before a bull market. Yeah,
it's tough to have the general market talk, because again, the market could go whatever which way. If someone actually had the answer, obviously they wouldn't be talking about it here on YouTube. So I think it's good to take everybody's sentiment in. I think, you know, we dealt with a lot in 2022, like a lot of black swan events, all this stuff. It feels like a little bit of a reprieve. To Jack's Hideaway's point, it's like pain is not over, but nice to take a breath. The one thing I would be following on like a micro event or like black swan event that we're still dealing with from this FTX, this DCG stuff is not over. Mm-hmm. This DCG stuff, Genesis stuff is not over. I feel like it's not getting as much coverage as like the FTX stuff would, but it's a major, you know, thing in the space to have just another fund completely blow up. So we're gonna continue to watch that. I would be watching that if I was you guys, but it is nice to have this little bit of green here at the start of 2023.
Feels so good. All right, real quick on the giveaway front, I've got Chaz in the chat, Juliet, Jen, Prodigy, Jawa, and Justin. Those are the 6 that I picked up that I clocked. So if you're in the chat, if you did all the things on the tweet for this DB's giveaway and I didn't just name your name, make sure to comment in the chat that you want that DB, that you did the thing, so I get you in here on this drawing, because we're about to select a winner randomly from this crew of legends. All right, there we go.
Love to see it. All right, quick news. Again, we are going to hit these, like basically everything that's happening in the space. Then we're going to touch on the y00ts and Polygon acquisition, based as fuck, later in the episode, and potentially a community topic. So without further ado, leave a like on today's episode, and we will get started here with the first quick news, which is that ApeFest, one of the largest, I would just say, activations in the space for one of the largest projects in the space. ApeFest is severing ties with NFT NYC and is going to go it alone in 23. What this means is that, I mean, they're looking at even locations. So it might not even happen in NYC for ApeFest in 23. This was a big piece of news. Obviously, like,
I hope it's not. I hope it's somewhere else.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
And we'll touch on that here in just a second. Just to wrap up this piece here, NFT and NYC, and to your point, GIF, earlier in the morning show, they were actually partnered. NFT NYC and ApeFest were actually like partners here. So it's like a bigger piece of news that NFT NYC is losing this major event that goes along with hosting, obviously, one of the largest conferences of the year. Takes.
I'm so happy. This makes me so happy. I want to see, especially like a community and a project like the apes, like do their own thing, right? Like we don't need these like conferences, right? Like I guess like maybe for like DeFi and other stuff, it's understandable, right? But I think eventually we need to have our own, you know, the NFT space needs to have their own things, and you know, a project like Yuga can definitely pull something off that's, I think, 10 times more a much better experience that you could do it at NYC. So I'm all for it. I'm really bullish on it, and I want to see what they come up with, because I'm sure they have some cool ideas. Looking forward to it. Better get an invite from y'all.
I'll get you a band next time, Biggie. You got to hop on the parties with us. But what's up?
Heck yeah. First and foremost, happy birthday to the one, the only Easy in crypto.
Shit!
Like one of the hosts on the network, Rock and Speakeasy with Kane Mayfield on Thursdays, and it's his birthday. So happy to see you here, fam.
Should we Gifted hates. Oh, I'm getting some feedback, GIF, on your side, I think.
Yeah, no singing.
Happy birthday, Easy.
Yeah, happy birthday, brother.
Make it count.
Yeah. I have a general dislike and distaste for the happy birthday song, but it's not the song as much as the way that people sing it, because it's really usually very pitiful and off key, and it's like grating. Like it's not even a good experience. It's just awkward and sounds bad, bro. So I don't know. That's
you know what I like to do in those situations, Gif? I love like those old school Irish like toasts, like from back in the day. You ever heard those?
Love a good toast.
So let me do one for Easy right here. Let me. It's a little early for booze, but you know, this one is Spindrift. We're still not sponsored. Q. We need to get one, but Easy. May you live as long as you want to, and never want as long as you live. That's what it is.
Let's go. Biggie Pop and salute on that one. Happy birthday, Easy in Crypto, our vibe, our tribe. That was a nice reprieve. Gifted, get into your point before you completely bashed happy birthday song.
Well, but I have to comment on the toast. I've never heard that toast, and I've been a collector. Nobody knows this. I've never talked about this really. I've been collecting toasts for the better part of like 15 years, and I actually have a document that's
What's the floor price on this?
Yeah, I don't know, but like, you know what? I need to add this toast to my collection now. So thank you for that. All right,
I'll send it to you.
As far as ApeFest goes, I'm very happy that they are, you know, taking a break from NFT NYC. I don't think NFT NYC deserves them, frankly. I think NFT NYC has been extremely extractive and hasn't created a great experience. They haven't been well organized. So even though like it's been one of the biggest conferences, it's been great. Honestly, I think ApeFest can do better. I think seeing them branch out, try new things, looking for other partners, looking for other cities. I mean, do what fucking VCon did. Go to a smaller city and have like a bigger thing all to yourself that you can organize really, really well and create an actual Web3 experience. You know, like they went to fucking, what is it, Minneapolis or Minnesota? I already forgot. But like, you know, that to me is a move. Do what ETH Denver is doing. Do what Consensus is doing. Go to these other towns that aren't LA, Miami, and fucking New York, and do something bigger, better that you can coordinate and organize really well. Just try something fucking different. I don't know. That's it. That's how I feel. I'm excited. I also want to say though, I don't think that this is necessarily them like totally wanting to break ties with NFT NYC as much as it might just be a logistical issue because they moved the date up till April and it's really quick to try and organize something as high profile and like as complicated as an ApeFest in a city like New York on a relatively short-term basis. So how much of this is that they were at odds with the organization versus just the logistics? We don't know. It's probably a mix of both, but I'm actually very excited for ApeFest to spread its wings and fly.
Now, I have to ask, what city would you guys like to see ApeFest in? Please, please, please put it in the comments, and I'd love to hear our co-host here.
Vegas. Give me
Oh
Vegas.
no, really?
Give me Vegas. It's essentially located. It's a great time. I'd love to get out to the West Coast, be on the East Coast.
If you're gonna wake up with a key up your ass, it's gonna be in Vegas, right? Of course it is. Fine.
It's on brand.
Yeah,
that makes almost too much sense. It follows right there.
Drop that in chat. I love that question. Let us know, folks, what conference you would like to go to, or what location you would like to go to at the conference. Gif, I want to piggyback on this ApeFest comment as well. Them maybe logistically needing to like go somewhere else. Since the last ApeFest, they've added a bunch of different community like IP, and could like honestly put on a whole Yuga conference at this point. You're talking MeBits. You're talking a lot of the other side assets. Like everybody could get involved, not just OG ape holders at this point. You've got a bunch.
But then also, how many other people and projects that they've partnered with or would want to partner on that, right? So it's like, yes, they could absolutely do their own. Again, it's already ApeFest. It doesn't need NFT NYC to be something really cool and special and spectacular. So I think that's a great point. I do think Austin is cool. I like Denver. I think Vegas could be interesting, although I'm not the biggest fan of Vegas. I think if you do it right, Vegas can be cool. Beyond that, I mean, maybe somewhere like a San Diego, maybe somewhere like a Portland.
Is there a reason why we haven't seen anything in Chicago? I gotta say, like I got a chance to visit after 20 years, and it's freaking gorgeous. Obviously, not in the winter. Please don't fuck it up like that. But
Chicago,
man, it's like right at reachable by both coasts, kind of in the centric.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that too. It's a really cool city that I don't know that has been done well that could be a great match for ApeFest.
Memphis.
Oh, maybe somewhere like Memphis or Nashville. That could be great. But the one I was gonna say is New Orleans. I think that.
Wow, that's perfect for ApeFest. I love that. That's even more of like that vibe.
Yeah,
get like a huge riverboat, or like a couple of them.
That's my vote. Yeah, they could do a yacht party on a riverboat.
Of like Bored Ape Absinthe.
Okay. So, yeah. I was a resident of New Orleans, Louisiana for a little while. So I just want to say flowers to New Orleans. I love it. But other than Bourbon Street, the French Quarter, like it is not that nice of a city.
What else do you need?
It is not a clean city. It is not like your average city around the U.S., which is cool. Like it has its own flavor, but New Orleans is a little. I'm not gonna put that out on tape, but yeah, I like all the ones that are thrown out. I love what's happening, and obviously Marfa couldn't support an event like this, but every time you bring up Marfa, Biggie, I really like this idea that you can create like a Web3 city almost. Like literally, you could have all of these events around these smaller kind of like communities that can take on their own life.
Yeah, for sure.
All right,
I think that's what we're going for.
Chicago sucks balls was talked about. I don't know. Chicago's for hacker houses. Pacific Beach. I like the San Diego piece there. Let's see. Lafayette was dope. I stayed there last summer. All right, so bringing it up, I appreciate it. We will get into the next piece. So we on average, our quick news is going to take about an hour and a half here. So we'll see how we do. Yuga kills it in 2022 with pretty much $100 million in royalties. Don't want to just focus on Yuga here. I want to touch on all of the communities here based on this tweet. Here are the royalties in the top 20 for NFT collections. Other deeds pulling in $50 million in royalties. Azuki, BAYC, CloneX, Moonbirds rounding out the top 5. It looks like MAY Doodles was in at 7. Hate Prime at 14 is kind of ridiculous. Goblin Town at 16. V Friends at 18. So, what do we think of this list, fellas? Royalties.
I mean, considering everything that happened during the second half of the year, those are some nice numbers. So good for them.
Why did other D's got $50 million in royalties? That was the volume on secondary for them. That is a
Well, think about, first of all, what the floor has been trading at. It's been trading above like 1.5 ETH. It was up as high as 5 ETH, and like a lot of them trading a lot higher than that. And the amount of supply is 100,000. So it's just numbers, man. It's crazy numbers that they're doing.
I'm trying to look this up while we're live and see if I can pull up some statistics. But to your point, like the amount of supply that they've got for that project is above and beyond where you're seeing it. So even if they're trading, at 1 or 2 ETH, you're just seeing much more activity than you would on Bored Apes.
And the amount of speculation around other side, right? That's what drives so much of the volume, is that speculation. And it's got an insane amount of speculation.
I'm trying to pull up the piece here. I don't think it's going to give us that much information, but I think it's Life. It's number 4 in total volume, number 5 in total market cap at current rate. So, yeah, we'll see. We don't have this on our dashboard, but obviously the other side is having some type of mint here on the 11th, or we're getting like the information on the 11th. So the last thing we saw was the trailer, and then they announced that there was going to be some mint info happening on the 11th. So we'll be watching that as well. All right. Let's go into Biggie. I've got Shopify. So hit me with the Shopify pieces.
Yeah.
Here. What's going on?
Another huge platform onboarding a protocol. This time it's Avalanche that they decided to go with, which I'm also bullish on that particular chain. And it just reinforces the narrative that we've been pounding the table on, that this year we're going to see these Web2 behemoths start hedging their bets, right? Or making alliances with certain protocols to start, onboarding their customers into Web3. So it's really bullish in my opinion. It's a good sign.
Gift, thoughts on Shopify and Avalanche? Have you been on Avalanche at all?
Not really. I had a bag of it for a while and I was getting pretty bullish, and then I lost quite a lot in the downturn.
Tales all this time.
Yeah, and then I ended up basically moving what little it was worth into ApeCoin for staking. So my only experience with Avalanche has not been great. I was thinking I was pretty bullish on it, but
is this with their NFT space or in general, like?
No, I'm just talking about the coin. I didn't get into the NFTs other than knowing that like Gabe Weiss did a drop on there a couple months ago. I don't really know anything about stuff that they're doing with NFTs beyond that. And to be totally honest, I don't see them doing much. And it's not to say that they're not. It's just like in terms of what I'm seeing and paying attention to and what people I see are talking about, Avalanche is not even in the conversation. So to see that they're still building, they're starting to make some bigger partnerships and figure out like a direction is good. I'm excited to see that, because to be honest, my general sentiment over the last couple of months has been pretty bearish on Avalanche, just because I haven't seen them around. I haven't seen them in the conversation. I haven't seen a lot of cool stuff happening. And like you have on the other side of that, you've got Solana, which for better or worse is constantly in the conversation. Polygon, massive moves just constantly happening. Obviously, you've got some of the others. And even Cardano has had a bunch of stuff going on over the last couple of months. So I don't know, when you start to see like nobody in your network talking about it or interested in it, it feels dead. And so, and I'm not saying that's true. That's just been my kind of sentiment, especially watching my bag just go to like 10% of what it was worth.
Yeah, that definitely doesn't help. I think you're right in the sense that it has not done very well capturing attention the way Solana or Polygon has. You have to track it a little bit more carefully. They are very focused on bringing in like real world assets and like big level corporate clients, right? Like Deloitte and stuff like that. But they are building and they're starting to like do a little more traction with their NFT space. Just something to keep an eye on. Again, NFA. And you're right. I think they could do a much better job capturing attention because the crypto space is pretty much dependent on it 100%.
Yeah, marketing is huge, and then again, it's like you can be great at tech, but if you don't have a narrative, it hurts you, right? And the one good thing that I've heard from a close friend that knows, a little bit of an insider is that they do have a strong dev community on Avalanche. And so, look, that's one of the most bullish things that you can say about a chain is if there's happy devs and a really strong dev community, and I've heard that's the case. So I'm not trying to FUD it to death. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to FUD it to death. I'm not trying to FUD everything. I'm giving my honest opinion of like a personal sentiment analysis over the last few months. It hasn't been that positive, and from what I've been seeing. But again, they could be building a lot of cool shit, and like this is an example of maybe something they've been working on for a while. So
in that 2018-19 like transition with the layer one, so essentially all these layer ones kind of came out in that 18-19 post ETH saying, hey, we're going to raise a bunch of money and we're going to create a scalable blockchain. If you had told me that fucking Polkadot would not be one of those top networks at the time, I would have like
Polkadot's another example.
I know, like, it's in that ABAX discussion. It really is.
What's Polkadot doing?
Fucking complicating things more than it's already needed.
To make that point again, like we're having the multi-chain talks and we're always gonna get wrapped up in this like situation where we talk about a chain and somebody's like, hey, like there's shit going on over here. Well, there is shit going on. Tell us. I would love to do and I'm excited to have more talks about Solana on this show. I really am. Like we want to see these networks proliferate.
And that's also why it's so great to have a plethora of different voices contributing, not just coming on the show, but in the chat. Like again, Justin started to get involved. He's bringing a lot of expertise from a Solana side and maybe some other things. Everybody has their own areas of interest and expertise, and it's like we want more of that. So again, there's an open invite for people that have a certain area of interest, certain chain, a project or something. You want to come on and talk about it, like we are open. It's really easy. As long as you got a decent mic or a decent camera, we just send you a link. You can hop on the show and come talk to us, educate us.
Honestly, that is the gold standard, and like in my opinion, like the North Star for us is like, what if we could fund initiatives that are basically like chain specific, right? Like somebody keep us up to date on what's happening on each chain, and we have that within our network. That would be something that I would love to get done down the line.
Be amazing.
All right, we're going to touch on Polygon and y00ts. That was obviously associated with like Solana, I'm sorry, and then moving to Polygon and the amount of bills that they spent on that. But I did want to get to one of the comments in the chat talking about Gordon and Gargo missing. Apparently, there was a court date where they were scheduled to be deposed, and they are in violation of the court. So Wiley is not attending his ordered deposition today. And he is now in violation of the court. Again, take like Ryder Rips. If you don't follow Ryder Rips, it is literally like
bad form, sir.
It's a running timeline of YugaFUD. That's like essentially what his whole brand is built off of. So, I mean, it seems like big news. If you're scheduled to be in court and you miss out, and you're the founder of Yuga Labs, looks like that is happening. But that's kind of breaking news. So I don't know if y'all have any comments on that.
Welcome to the Yuga show. I mean, that's it. No, real quick though. I don't have any other comments. I mean, we'll just have to see how that plays out,
Yeah.
right? Like, you know, I don't know what happens next, other than maybe he gets penalized or fined, or they tell him another date. I mean, I don't know.
How bad can I mean? I'm not familiar. Maybe somebody's a little more well, researching this thing. But I mean, I feel like it's something. Maybe the guy's got like social anxiety or something, had a panic attack, couldn't go. I don't know. Like what the hell? Like
Insanity plea. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would
no.
get the floor prices pumping. All right, what's up?
Real quick, we got a winner. I was over here. I got everybody's name. I got Era in there, and I think the other one that I added on was Nox. So we had eight official entries that showed up in the chat here as well. Did the random number generator, and I'm excited to share the winner. I don't have my horns or my soundboard over here on this show, but congratulations to the winner of the Heterochrome Eyes Badass Little Hexbon, the DB's NFT giveaway. None other than your friend Nifty Q.
What?
Prodigy.
What?
Prodigy. Let's go. No, it's not
Let's go, Prodigy.
It's your gaming buddy, Prodigy. Congrats, Prodigy. We'll airdrop that to you here in just a moment.
Giff could not have said that more condescendingly. Your gaming buddy that you.
Your little gaming buddy.
Shout out to Prodigy. Well, the first W he's had in the NFT space in a couple months, I think.
Yo, that's what it's all about. I'm glad to hear that.
Airing the business out there. Okay, this is what we're doing. Thank you for participating in those giveaways. We do them all the time, of course. I got to get Asmodee's $50 in ApeCoin as well. That will be coming to you here, sir, pretty quickly. Prodigy saying, I've never won anything here. Nick Swerve is saying, Yuga Show must go with this topic or Bags be feeling threatened. And then it looks like Chaz is upset that he did not win. So definitely ready to win something on the show. Okay, last two bits of quick news, and let's keep it quick. I think we actually made it through in record time. I'm not even kidding. We're not that deep into the show. I don't have much here on this market, but I did want to show that NFT Plazas does cover the metaverse markets here, and it looks like the metaverse land plays are getting a bid as well, along with the rest of the NFT price flooring. Everybody's speculating on other deeds, of course. Decentraland Sandbox had a pretty large sale, actually. Looks like 20 ETH there in the Sandbox was a large sale, followed up by NFT Worlds, Voxels, and Somnium Space. So the metaverse is still around, folks. That's basically the narrative I was trying to kind of make sure that we still focused on, was that the metaverse will be a play in the next cycle. How big, whether they can develop these fully functional, interoperable metaverse worlds that we're all accustomed to seeing in Ready Player One is another thing. But I think, metaverse worlds are at an all-time low in sentiment right now, and it's important in those times to talk about how there will be opportunities to flip and to invest and do all these things with the metaverse in this next cycle. So keeping that at top of mind.
It's going to be interesting to see what kind of consolidation starts to happen around the metaverse as well. Like, we're talking about LG making big moves. So CES was over the weekend. We talked a lot about some of the interesting headlines. One of the coolest things just to know in general is, CES is like the big general tech conference that happens every year in Vegas. And apparently, the last couple of years, it's been like a no-go. Like it's been taboo even to like try and talk about crypto or blockchain. But this year it's all over the heckin' place. And Metaverse was actually a focus, which I was a little bit surprised about, to be honest. I didn't realize that the Metaverse specifically would be such a focus for the innovation at CES. But like LG, maker of smart TVs and smart tech, is doing a lot to integrate Web3 tech into their products, including their own wallet, their own marketplace, and even NFT gaming partnerships. And we're talking about what this means for the hardware startups in the Web3 space. Probably a lot of those go away. Probably a lot of those that technology, those apps, et cetera, get either acquired or they can't scale fast enough to compete with the distribution of an LG. I'm curious to see what happens with the metaverse in general, right? Like, I think right now you've got a lot of different metaverse startups, specifically ones around smell now. and around giving you different senses. Like, there's one of the CES startups gives you now 30 different senses in the metaverse, so you can feel things like free falling. So when you jump off of a building, you actually feel like you're going to die. That's cool, I guess. But there's going to be all these startups, including the virtual worlds and a bunch of different tech, peripherals, hardware, software, apps around the metaverse. It'll be interesting to see this play out over the coming years of like who end up being, the big winners. Again, unfortunately, I think Meta is going to be there no matter what. But who else, right? It'll probably be Apple. I think Apple ends up coming in big, with AR especially, and a lot of different types of extensions into our day-to-day lives and how we experience the metaverse. But I don't know, man. It's going to heat up. It'll be interesting to see how many of these virtual worlds are still here and what else is successful.
The sense of smell has always been like the number one go-to for detractors for VR. I didn't know this until I looked it up. It was like basically they were like, hey, you can't recreate being in this environment because you can never put the smell on a like rolling basis. Say you're walking through a meadow in then New York City. It's like, how do you recreate those smells? It's like, well, it looks like there's tech that's being developed there. Biggie, I have a trailer here that you just sent me. I gotta say, I'm a simp for just seeing NFT IP in any animated form. So do you just want to play it and then come out on the other side?
Let's do it. Let's do it. It's fun.
All right, give me just a sec. I will get to it, folks. This comes from Vertical Dream, and looks like we have a pretty dope trailer here.
Terra Luna brought us crashing to the ground.
And the Fed raised rates and they kicked us, we were down.
Voyager and Celsius died with the whimper sound.
But we said GM, SBF and FDX, Caroline line.
Hacks and losses, pump and dump crime.
We didn't take profits at the right time. But we said GM, we said GM, GM. We said
everyone got hurt in the royalty war.
Bored apes flip punks, then the punks flip more.
Disappointing moon burden as rewards. But
We said GM, the allow list matter was all over the place.
taxes made us wanna jump in a lake.
Beanie came back, but we said no way. We said GM, we said GM, GM. We said GM to our friends. We said GM, 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 GM.
Ethereum merged, Vitalik's bulge. AI learned pudgy penguins burned, but they rose from the ashes like a phoenix.
Holiday 5K, man boobs of game. Chaos reign, DeFi save the day. And when we say GM, you know we mean it. When we say GM, you know we mean it.
Big red candles and heart attacks.
Capitulate, forced to sell our stacks.
Through all the fat fingers and the hacks.
We said GM, and we said GM. You don't need help when the dominant trend
Is up and to the right like it has no end.
If some things go wrong, that you need a friend. And so we say GM, yeah, we say GM, GM. We said GM to our friends. We said GM, 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 GM.
Holy shit, that was awesome. Let's just start the show with that every time. How about that?
Good vibes. Good vibes.
And yes, Marty caught the Easter egg that was actually me in the overalls. You're too quick. You're too clever, Marty. We can't
Kept that
pull one
from us.
over. Can't get past you, man.
There were a lot. I think OK Bears was in there. There were like a lot of like weird and awesome IP there from the NFT space.
Love
Like,
seeing the dead fellas.
Dead Fellas was in there.
Yeah.
I love seeing Gabe Weiss chasing SBF with a machete. That was dope.
Yeah, then Elon coming in
Bears,
as a cyborg.
Cool Cats. Yeah, that was
Sappy Seals, Pudgy Penguins.
Yeah, that was cool. Thank you for that, Biggie. Appreciate you sharing that, my man.
Yeah, man.
Who is Vertical Dream Song a Day Man? Because Easy was talking about Song a Day Man.
Dude, I literally, like, somebody sent to me the link right real quick. We were talking about Metaverse. I was like, saw a little bit of it. I was like, this looks really cool. We should probably play it. So shared it with y'all.
Okay? Tell us in the chat what's better, that video or the music video with Snoop Dogg and Eminem? That's what I want to know. What do you think's better, the GM or the Snoop Dogg and Eminem music video?
Who saw what was better for the NFT space? Are we having an actual debate here? Because
which one's better?
Saw the Snoop Dogg video. How many people saw? No, I saw the Snoop Dogg video. Okay, I'm getting all tongue tied here talking about random ass music videos. I would say that video is much better, of course, highlighting all the different projects and communities in the NFT space. All right, here we go. We are getting on to the last bit of quick news. This kind of hits home for me because the y00ts and Polygon scenario, and then Polygon in general with their like business development and all these things they're doing with Reddit and Starbucks and all these things. You know, I always like want to know how that impacts that chain in the short term and of course long term, but more so in the short term and like how that affects us on a day to day. Does this lead to, you know, some type of like mini bull run where we get like more liquidity in the space? It's tough to kind of quantify that stuff. And also I feel like this, so basically like Asian adoption of NFTs, like that fascinates me for the same reason. It's like you see this, like maybe even we know the GDP of China, we know that their consumption of cryptocurrency and trading, all these things is huge. And in a little bit, you could kind of say that, you know, Bitcoin adoption and the price of Bitcoin specifically had a little bit to do, or a lot of it to do, with China's adoption of cryptocurrency, right? You don't see that as much in the NFT space, but for all intents and purposes, I'm following some accounts now that are saying, watch out for Asian adoption, watch out for Japan's adoption of NFTs, watch out for China's adoption of NFTs. And Latin it just America, fascinates me. Latin America, another one that I wasn't even planning on talking about, but we can. It's like, how does that impact us in the West? You know, and I know we have a lot of followers who are, you know, living in China, living in Indonesia, living in Australia. So this whole conversation, I think, is tough to pin down, but really, how does the adoption of what in the West and in the East affect each other is kind of the idea. And I think, you know, the Twitter followers that I'm following right now, or the profiles, they're saying that be ready for China adoption, be ready for Japan adoption.
Well, I don't know what be ready means. I mean, the way that they impact each other is pretty simple, right? It's these networks and these chains, and by nature, the projects that are built on them are global in terms of their access. They're open. There's nobody, unless you're in a country or a territory where they're just totally limiting your ability to access the internet and you can't use a VPN or whatever. Anybody can access these projects, these chains, anywhere around the world. And so as adoption grows anywhere, if you are invested in that currency or invested in that token, like you're benefiting from that increased network volume, right? So like that's the obvious way, is that, you know, if I'm in a collection, if I'm in Oniforce and somebody in China is collecting Oniforce, we're both invested in the same thing, just like we're sharing, you know, a same stock or something like that, except that it's crypto and it never sleeps and it's more decentralized, obviously. Cool.
I think if this is truly going to be a decentralized world that we're all like preaching and aiming for, then it cannot just be through the frame and through the lens of a westernized perspective, right? And that's why it's important to, I think the Be Ready is more like have a multicultural outlook, have friends in different places. And this is, I mean, I think goes right to the heart of something that I'm always like kind of fighting this uphill battle with people that are claiming that the NFT space is oversaturated. You know, too many PFPs. And it's true. It's 100% true. But it doesn't mean like that the adoption is the same, right? Like when you look at, say, the entertainment industry, right? It is like just a fact. I mean, that Hollywood dominates the world, right? Like American culture permeates throughout the world, whether it's through Marvel and Universal Studios and all this stuff. Sure, there's Bollywood and there's other movie industries, but it is very hard to leave that particular cultural echo chamber. I think crypto changes this completely and it flips it on its head, right? And right now, yes, I do agree that the majority of the projects that we've seen come from a very westernized perspective, and you have not seen a like a Mexican project launch where it's like where Mexicans can like completely feel like identified with it, right? Same thing with Asia, and I think that's what they're referring to. That you will see, and I agree with that statement completely. I do think that this next wave is very probable that it's going to be in Asia because they are very technologically savvy. They're plugged in all the time. It's something collectibles and stuff that they already understand. And so it is important to keep your eye on the pulse. And if you have friends from Asia, ask them, join some spaces. That's what I do. I'm very bullish on that. And I completely agree with it. I don't think we've seen anything outside of a European American perspective launch. There's a couple, right? But even like say like just because the companies are registered, say something like Avegachis that are in Singapore and everything, right? But it still feels like a very westernized approach and perspective of the project, which is nothing wrong with it. It's great. And like you said, GIF, everybody can participate in it. But there will come a moment when other projects will be able to express and capture the attention of the masses that no project has been able to do so far, right? With other foreign countries.
I like the part about the culture, like a global culture forming through the internet, through memes, and through crypto specifically, and that being able to connect through NFTs, through different projects, through these different ideas, like GM, like in the song we just saw, to a global community, I think is fascinating. From a sociological perspective, not only that, but obviously then the potential for business opportunities. But I do think another interesting point here, be ready for scammers. I think Easy was the one saying that. As somebody who has multiple different IP and projects that I am, responsible for shepherding, working on building long term. There's already been a ton of issues with OpenSea, et cetera, and a bunch of people knocking off DBs and Nifty Castle products. I can only imagine how much worse that's going to get for myself and project leads, but also for the marketplaces trying to stop this and do a good job of shutting that down. I mean, can you imagine the amount of issues that OpenSea is facing on a daily issue, on a day to day, and then factor in maybe 100 million more people coming on?
So here's my thesis on that, is that OpenSea will primarily serve the Western market, and there will be an OpenSea, I wouldn't call it even a competitor, but there will be some equivalent that you could potentially invest in. And that's where I, think if I'm looking at the Chinese market or the Japanese market and I'm like, if I can even invest, there's a lot of regulation that happens in Japan that makes it so it's hard to get adoption there. They have severe regulation around, their currencies, what can be traded, and all these different things. But if I'm looking to invest not on the ground daily, like we can't be on the forefront of the Japanese PFP projects that are being launched. It's just impossible for us to do that. The potential investment might be, what is the OpenSea of Japan? You know what I mean? Like, what is and maybe they have a token that you can invest in, or maybe what is the largest NFT project in Japan? These are like the things that you could potentially get involved in, because I don't see myself keeping up on that, getting exposure through buying 5 or 6 different Japanese NFT projects.
And if I may, I think a great resource for our listeners here is the Daily Dose Spaces that we've mentioned here a couple of times, run by Ryan Carson. Since its inception, a lot of different branches have spawned for different languages specifically, right? Like Daily Dose is focused on education and onboarding. They've been doing a phenomenal job. And now you can find different spaces. So if you speak a different language, and sometimes it's not necessary, you don't have to. They're very welcoming community. So you can go and check out French, German. I know there's one in Hindu. I know there's one in the Asian community is one that I like to join a lot. Like it's a little bit earlier before Ryan Carson's show, and they are very welcoming. They all speak English because again, Asia is a big, there's several languages spoken, right? And so that is a great way to get insight and just get on the spaces and ask questions. These are people that are very active and prominent in the Web3 space. So that's that's just a hint, a little bit of knowledge I'd like to share with you all.
Marty McFly saying, I love the Daily Dose, by the way. Marty McFly saying, Japan is on my short list of next travel spots. Anyone here live in Orlando? So definitely give Marty a shot. Marty just doxed himself, by the way, there. Half doxed, Marty. Come on, man. All right. Anyways, we are getting into the first full topic. We covered Based as Fuck all last week. Some of us got involved and some of us didn't. And we're going to talk about the ones that did get involved because Biggie and Gift Ed both minted. We had some people pick up on secondary as well. They're sitting in chat. We talked about, for the entire week, which is a long time to dedicate to one topic in this space. Based as Fuck was like taking up a ton of our conversations on why we like it. So we'll have some of that combo, but more like updates. Do you guys have any updates? I have the links as well if you want to kind of go through that.
Well, one thing that I really appreciated was the what was it the deck that Supermassive shared before the mint. Just I think henceforth all projects should do this. Tell you exactly what you're getting, what it's about, and give you all the information. I don't care if you put it in the Twitter Spaces and in your Discord, and you have to be flipping around all over the place. This is what everybody should freaking give you henceforth. Like just clear cut, TLDR, doesn't have to be a massive white paper. Just know what you're getting into. I thought this was great, and I haven't seen too many projects do it. So this to me was like, I very much appreciated it.
Yeah, this feels like a content creator in a studio that know what they're doing. They know their audience. They know how to create really, really engaging shit. You know what I mean? Like I'll say this. So we talked about this briefly last week. IP is at the core of NFT value and utility. Like one of the most interesting, rewarding parts about NFTs in general and why so many people speculate on these cartoon characters and shit is IP, intellectual property, owning a part of IP, and this concept of distributed IP that is a paradigm shift, a revolution happening through this new technology. However, so far, what we've seen over the last 2-3 years in the NFT space is a lot of very underwhelming IP. Most of it's not that good quality. Most of it's not doing that much other than some merch or maybe some kind of B, C level trailer videos. Other side and Yuga Labs has been one of the only exceptions of like a really, really high quality IP, that showcases that IP in super cinematic, animations and shit like that. And now you've got these types of creators coming in and pushing the quality to that next level, right? And I think, again, that's what's really exciting is when you start to see these different characters, these different NFT properties, the IP that you love brought to life in super, super creative, really well executed ways, and just I don't know, man. This is like having like a David Finch, or I don't know, like a James Cameron of internet, meme culture coming in to be like, yo, I'm gonna throw down and do something next level. Because like Tim Ferriss is another example of somebody who's trying to do that. I don't know that Tim Ferriss, as much as he's like respected as a podcaster, like he's not necessarily known for being like a master of YouTube. You know what I mean? Or something like that, or creating the most amazing viral videos of all time or something. You know what I mean? Like Supermassive, I just think brings that kind of quality that a lot of the IP's been missing.
And I think also something to highlight is like the approach that he's adopting, the model from what's his name? I'm totally blanking right now. The guy that gives away millions all of the time,
Mr.
sells the
Beast.
burger. Fucking thank you, Mr. Beast. You know, like sharing the revenue with his community, right? Which is, you know, something that's if he's able to do this, and it's not just the revenue, but it's also, from what I understand, like experiences and access. If he's able to capture that attention, which I think he's very capable of, as Gift said, this can be something very special. And I mean, if you're, however small of a creator you may consider yourself to be, if you want to partake in this space, I think it's a great place to be. I'm very bullish on it.
It's interesting that he went the route of explaining, like, hey, we're heavily going to be integrating this with what we do on YouTube. Like, we're a YouTube content creation studio first. You know, that's that to your point about Tim Ferriss. He's not that way. Like, that's part of his distribution mediums, but like, it's not the number one. So we haven't seen a lot of big time YouTubers get involved and be able to say, hey, access this through a web browser that brings up a YouTube private video. Like, these are all integrations that we want to see.
There's a certain caliber of creator, specifically on like YouTube and maybe on like TikTok, with, you know, like short form video content, that is so good at entertaining their audience and creating an experience that is unlike anything else, that they have people just like so excited and waiting for anything that they do, right? Like Tim Ferriss, like, again, he's great. He's super well known, very successful guy, and a lot of people really, really love him. But I don't think that he necessarily has the kind of fan base that is like, yo, when is that next Tim Ferriss video dropping? Like, that's the type of like avid fan base that certain creators have on YouTube and TikTok especially, where you want those notes on and you want to be the first person to see this shit and share it and talk about it because it's going to be fucking crazy and you know that you're going to fucking love it. And that, so seeing that sort of top tier quality caliber of creator, the entertaining, and I'm talking about entertain, it's a very specific type of thing. Again, like there's the Tim Ferrisses of the world that do their type of thing. And then there's like entertainers, right? These types of creators that can create something so fucking entertaining and interesting and fun that like you have to be there for it. So seeing that type of creator getting into NFTs is really exciting.
All right, we're gonna move on into the Biggie. You have any last thoughts before we move on to this last topic?
I was just gonna say, Q, post reveal, you better have like your sniper scope out there, like join us.
Is that what you're predicting a post reveal drop? I could get
honestly.
Just say I'm hoping to pick up maybe one or two more.
I'm gonna
like,
say I'm gonna say, Q, like, if I'm being honest, man, sitting next to you up here, knowing that you're not based at all right now, it kind of feels a little uncomfortable. Like, I wish you were more based. If I'm gonna be sharing the stage with you up here, I like to be around people that are based as fuck.
Easily
and just
the least based.
Yeah, you're
here, apparently. I will look if it's going to come between Gifted thinking I'm not based, but isn't not buying in that scenario based? Like, I don't want to buy to make you think that I'm based, because that's not based.
So you're definitely less based if you buy a based head right now before based heads reveal. That would be a little bit less based than mint, but it's still pretty based.
Okay. Well,
so maybe they should make a derivative expansion project called Still Pretty Based, and then you should mint that.
I'm down for that. The derivatives. I'm good. I'm good with that. All right. So I will be minting Pretty Based here next week whenever that mint is announced. But we do have to get into this last topic of the day. We're making fucking great time, folks. Leave a like on the video. It helps get the content out there to the masses. If you're watching on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, we appreciate you guys so much for tuning in today. The last topic of the day is a piece that dropped on the Nifty Portal show when they had Frank DeGods on to talk about this move from Solana to Polygon. If you're not familiar, TLDR, Frank DeGods put out this amazing video, of which we have audio clips now, and they will be added into this show periodically. He's moving the collection to Polygon. And that, of course, is like got all these implications that come along with it. y00ts is one of the biggest. It was the biggest PFP project on Solana. I can't wait till Justin Murray gets into this comment. But what you got? What you got, Gif?
Dear Solana community, thank you.
Okay, so getting back to this story real quick before Gifted goes into that sorry post there. We had an announcement on the Nifty portal from Frank DeGods saying they got paid to move to Polygon. So it wasn't this big like, hey, I've been planning this for a while. They were actually shopping the IP around or shopping the project around to move to another chain, and Polygon Studios bought their
They got a grant. They got a grant. They got a grant for $3 million
with the idea that, hey, you're now going to have this project be built out on Polygon.
So VGF dropped some insight. He said, basically, to your point, Q, they were planning to leave regardless. They shopped it around, took bids from multiple parties. Polygon ecosystem seemed like a natural fit and granted them $3 million, which is a huge perk. So he seems to think it seems like a smart business move. Obviously, you know, like I have my own thoughts. I don't think that community has ever been the focus for them. I think it's all just about the business and the money at the end of the day. But you know what? As a business move, like $3 million to move to another chain and get off Solana.
As much as we've been talking about Solana, and if you've been tuning in over the last couple of weeks, you know that there are bullish trends now on Solana, of course. But the narratives right now between Polygon and Solana, I mean, you're moving from being on a network that is like right now regarded as like having some issues to Polygon, which has this like full and clear road ahead to being like this next, you know, largest chain in the ecosystem with all these large brand partnerships. You're becoming the number one PFP project on that chain.
Okay, other important point, because like we were going to mention it, but everybody's like making sure like we wouldn't. There are apparently a lot of other examples of him being a total ass bag out there. Like, for instance, acting very, very sexist, calling women bitches out publicly, and just, I mean, I can't say I'm that surprised. I guess, like, you know, and I think you were drawing a parallel between sort of like bro culture, et cetera. It's like, it's kind of just the unfortunate reality of a lot of, you know, we've got young crypto bros, 23-year-old some dudes that are now leaders of multi-million-dollar enterprises. Like, it's kind of hard to not expect a lot of degen, you know, shit. It doesn't excuse it, and you know, it's not great. Again, it reflects badly on the space in general when you've got, again, quote unquote, leaders of some of the biggest projects in the space.
Debate. Like, we all knew the guy was.
I know. I feel that's. I guess that's where I kind of stand on this too. It's like, I never liked the guy in the first place, so it's just like another example. But yes, if you didn't know, apparently he's out there, you know, throwing around the word bitch a lot
First of all,
Twitter.
Also, Gifted is like one of the doing the most for women creators, in my opinion. Like, our shows are like mostly females. Like
100%.
Who the fuck? Like, show me another Twitter Spaces. So like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to get into this. Like, you were up here every day talking about this stuff, and there are things we're doing that, like, I don't know. I
think that's one of our like biggest.
Talking about Frank DeGods.
Yeah, that's true. But it is a badge of honor from our shows. I think that I'm particularly very proud of that. We have some of the biggest amounts of women followers and leaders and builders in the space, and we have them up in the space all the time. They're awesome. You should check it out. You know, it's something that I'm very proud of.
And me too. And that comes directly, you know, at least for my part, comes directly from the DNA of the Nifty Castle, which was always a super inclusive place to explore the creative potential of NFTs.
Justin, relax.
Yeah,
Relax.
dude. Yeah, like Justin's trying to fill his role as the new Marty, but it all comes with time, the balance and the calibrating it. So comes with time.
So the actual business move of taking $3 million, becoming the biggest PFP project on a ascending blockchain with Polygon. I mean, again, the argument that was kind of thrown out there was that there's not a lot of daily volume on Polygon when it comes to these NFTs. That there's a ton of different threads I went through over the weekend that were talking about like why this is not necessarily like a game changer for the volume on that chain, but that it's still a great move in this transition. I think Polygon's going to do well. I mean, you want more NFT trading volume. Like that's the way that this space moves with like how they judge what is healthy. So like if it's going to come back to like, here, let's make some of the biggest partnerships with some of the best brands. Let's integrate with some of the largest fucking rewards programs in the world. And oh, by the way, you're behind Avalanche on NFT trading. It's like, okay, Polygon's making an assertive effort to show, let's bring this NFT project over here and let's increase the trading volume because that's apparently what matters.
I mean, yeah, look, there's a focus on trading volume and numbers over pretty much everything else. But also I think that sometimes development takes a while, and a lot of these plays are infrastructure, and you don't see a lot of that for a while, I think. But also it takes a lot of scale to get massive trading volume on a network like Polygon. So I don't know. I don't really know where to go with that.
I'm actually really excited about these chains getting to the point where they are shelling out money to these NFT projects. I know that sounds like we're getting too much into the monetary and away from the creative potential and all this stuff, but the ability for Polygon to like, they're not acquiring any IP here. They're just literally saying, hey, come build on our network, come build in our garden. You know what I mean? Like that's, I love that idea. I always love the idea that other chains could actually acquire other chains. Like, well, okay, Polygon, why don't you buy Polkadot? I know that's hypotheticals out there, but you could bring those two under the same umbrella in the same way Yuga's done it with some of their collections.
Yeah. And, Justin's saying only 14,000 users on Polygon the last 30 days. I don't know how much longer that will last, though. Again, frankly, like if they're bringing on people like MasterCard that have probably billions of dollars of transactions every year. So like, you're looking at a moment in time knowing that they're developing a stunning amount of integrations and partnerships. I just see it as like a matter of time. Who knows? Maybe I'll be proven wrong. Who knows? I just think to me it's a network effect argument and it's an infrastructure argument. And that's where I see a lot of the biggest partnerships and the biggest consumer brands and communities going. But it's always good to have data points like that available. So thank you for that. Squashman also sharing some alpha around Yuga, currently hiring creative content producers, creative directors, and game producers. So if you are looking to get jobs with the first ever NFT conglomerate, big boy in the space, they are hiring.
Don R saying, Ronan mentioned the value of having the low cost of Polygon while still being able to say you're on Ethereum. It is, of course, a side chain, a big deal for NFTs. Biggie, I know we're having like multiple conversations around like both Solana and then Polygon, the y00ts, Frank to Gods. Like it's a little bit hard to unpack, but like general thoughts about Polygon paying $3 million to have y00ts come over there. Do you see that as a positive, negative? You don't care?
I don't care that much. I mean, I'm more intrigued for the reason. I don't care so much on the Polygon side. I'm more intrigued on the Frank the God side. Like, I'm very curious. I'm not familiar again with the DGods ecosystem. I don't follow it, so I'm sure Justin will chime in any second now, correcting me. But I do know that there are a lot of projects on Solana that got hurt by the FTX debacle, and I don't know if DGods could have been one of them, and that they need that liquidity, right? And maybe Polygon was the top bidder. I'm more intrigued by that. I'm also more intrigued on like the adoption, like the reception on Polygon by the rest of the ecosystem. I think it's inevitable, right? Like I'm bullish on cross-chain interaction, and I think it's not only like something like a boon, but it's necessary, right? We saw it during the FTX crash, right? The ability to like maybe take your assets from Solana and be able to put them in a safer chain. I did that, right? Like there were a lot of people scrambling, trying to find out what bridge to use, which one was safe or whatever. So I'm bullish on cross-chain interaction, and I'm very bullish on cross NFT, what I'm starting to call cross NFT travel. Because I do think at some point you will be able to take your NFTs to other blockchains and interact in that ecosystem, which I think is really cool. Now, in this particular case, I think, yeah, like I just get this thing that it could be out of necessity, right? Like not just because of the Solana ecosystem and the tainted bad taste in our mouths, but like maybe they are in need of some liquidity, and that's all good. I'm very curious to see how it plays out, how the reception plays out, both on Ethereum for DeGods and on Polygon for the y00ts. It'll be a first, so it'll be cool to watch.
Yeah, right now when you look across the Polygon NFT like PFP meta that's on that ecosystem, there's really not much, right? There's like I think there's the Trump trading cards were on Polygon. Reddit obviously was on Polygon, and a couple. I mean, like I need to name a couple others, but I wonder if they can't take the narrative now, and try to run with it. Like that's the idea, right? Like let's buy y00ts and let's try to bring NFT PFP trading to our chain.
Yeah, I mean it'll do something. I guess we're gonna see, right?
Are you buying y00ts on Polygon? Last question.
No, like I wasn't into it, and now I'm being told that he's also a well-known sexist. Like I already wasn't a fan. Why am I going to support it now? I mean, would I be more likely to buy it now that it's on Polygon than I was originally? Probably, but like I'm still not planning to as of now. Although to be honest, the fact that they just like look if this is the Trump argument that I think certain people made, where it's just like if you have no values other than trying to make money, then it might be still a good project to buy into, because they just got a bunch more liquidity infused through this transfer. But again, like I personally don't like the idea of profiting off of projects and creators that I don't align myself with.
And to highlight this further, GIF, I think it's very important to understand the difference between an audience and a community, right? So far, I think the DeGods ecosystem has an audience. I'm not involved in the community, but from what I can see, it is very much, like you said, GIF, inclined towards profits, towards pumping, towards hype. I have not seen any meaningful discussion really, or like embracing other ecosystems and stuff like that. So yeah, I've always kept my eye on it because I like to learn from everybody, but it's not an ecosystem that I want to be a part of. I don't feel like it's a great experience community wise. It's got an audience, but it's not a community.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's again the issue with focusing too much on floor price and financialization and telling everybody they're going to make money, is that all you do is you attract a certain kind of short-term money focused collector, and that's not a good way to create a sustainable, meaningful, high quality community who actually cares about your project. And again, unfortunately, I feel like that's a lot of Solana. Like I know Justin doesn't want to hear it and he disagrees because there's a few exceptions to this rule. He likes to talk about Claynosaurs, which we should do a deep dive on Claynosaurs. Apparently Claynosaurs is a great project with a great community over there, and there's a couple others. But from my experience personally on Solana, there's a lot of that flipping, short-term sentiment mentality, even toxicity a lot of the time, and less of the long-term art collector, IP focused, Again, it's not everybody. I get it. But like, there's definitely a lot of that there.
So we're popping up to the end of the show, folks, but we're gonna wrap up this combo.
Should I get some feed pics before we wrap it up?
We should. Yeah. Send me some links to some feet and I'll put them up here. The two things I'm interested in with this DeGods move. One, did the original collection get burned? That's what I keep like going back and forth trying to get an answer on. Like in these moves where you're saying, "Oh, we're moving the collection to Polygon." Is that a full move? Do you literally have to burn like an NFT to get the new NFT on Polygon? Because that to me is important. You know, having an original collection on Solana and it. I mean, some people might even choose to just keep. Like, let's say there's a burn mechanic. Some people might choose not to do that, not move it to Polygon. Technically, right? Like if it's like, hey, you have to burn your Solana NFT to get your Polygon then some people would choose not to. So I'm always interested in that. The other piece too, I think if this was put up to a vote by the community, we always talk about like decentralized ownership of these communities. If this was put up by a vote and the community voted to move, I think this would have a little bit better of a narrative. And I wonder which way that the community would have went, knowing they were getting that 3 million, knowing what's happening with Polygon. Again, I'm not in y00ts, but I wonder how that vote would have been swayed.
And if you're an ecosystem, right, that almost like thrive by bashing other chains and claiming superiority, which arguably they used to do, right? And I'm agnostic. I play on all chains, but how warm a welcome are you going to expect, right? Now that you've had to bail from your so-called superior chain. So tread lightly, my friends.
Marty saying no feet picks. Easy in crypto. Happy birthday again. Great combo. As always, glad to catch the live today, lads. And Don R saying, I love the reputation of these projects carries so much weight among the people on the show. Be good or suffer the wrath. Okay, folks. Listen, this was like relative to our shows. This is
we were good. We were
good today. Very optimal and efficient.
Maybe we should go into the rate the rugs. You know, I think
let's just go for another hour.
I'm kidding, Jacob.
Just a full another hour. Okay, guys, we talked a lot about y00ts and Polygon today. We got the based as fuck updates with the based heads. We had a lot of quick news to cover as well. It's a beautiful start to 2023.
Big updates on ETH Denver coming very soon. So that's a teaser for you right there. We're going to be doing some big things in Denver, and I'm very excited to share more about that soon. So
nice.
Fantastic. All right. Well, you know what I'm going to do? I need some filler, but I want to go out with the GM song again, man. That was just
feetpix, bro. Feetpix is the filler. I bought some feetpix. You know what? I don't know that I'm going to buy any more right now, but the floor is hanging around 0.03 and they're almost 200 ETH secondary volume. Feetpix.wtf. No idea who's behind it. Looks totally anon as far as I can tell. Could be fucking terrorists. I don't know. That's the fucked up thing. Honestly, I don't know.
You should
so
not have to say that every time.
I'm not making a hard sell for it, but hey, if you want to go check out a ridiculous meme project of pixelated feet pics, feetpix.wtf. It's a thing, and I bought one.
What's min price?
I'm slightly, I'm not gonna lie. I'm slightly ashamed that I bought.
You should be.
I'm slightly ashamed.
You and 2,500 other people should be absolutely ashamed of your degeneracy. All right, I'll drop this in the chat if you guys are interested in feed picks, not financial advice. Asmodai's hoping for gaming news in 23. I'm hoping for anything other than what we just ended the show with. All right, folks, this was another episode of NFT Live. We appreciated everyone participating today. We will be back, of course, tomorrow on the GM Web3 Morning Show and NFT Live here at 1 p.m. Eastern every fucking day. Y'all were epic. Our vibe, our tribe.
rates and they kicked us, we were.
Terra Luna brought us crashing to the ground.
And the Fed raised rates and they kicked us, we were down.
Voyager and Celsius died with the whimper sound.
But we said GM, we said GM. SBF and FDX, Caroline line.
Hacks and losses, a pump and dump crime.
We didn't take profits at the right time, but we said GM, we said GM, GM. We said GM to our friends. We said GM, 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 GM.
Everyone got hurt in the royalty war.
Bored apes flip punks, then the punks flip more.
Disappointing moonbird nest rewards. But
We said GM, we said GM. The allow list matter was all over the place.
taxes made us wanna jump in a lake.
Beanie came back, but we said no way. And we said GM, we said GM, GM. We said GM to our friends. We said GM, 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 GM.
Ethereum merged, Vitalik's bulge. AI learned pudgy penguins burned, but they rose from the ashes like a phoenix.
Holiday 5K, man boobs of game. Chaos reign, DeFi save the day. And when we say GM, you know we mean it. Say GM, you know we mean it.
Big red candles and heart attacks.
Capitulate, forced to sell our stacks.
Through all the fat fingers and the hacks.
We said GM and we said GM. You don't need help when the dominant trend
Is up and to the right like it has no end.
If some things go wrong, that you need a